nerdy virgins who've never been laid and spotty geeks.
It's a bunch of nerds that haven't quite moved out of their parents' basement yet. They have no life.
Yeah, I think they're just a bunch of dirty loners, really.
I had a wash before I came here. The first in a week.
Yeah. It's a long way from the basement to the bathroom.
Dungeons & Dragons is a fantasy role-playing game originally produced in the 70s. It's a widespread stereotype that the players are antisocial and nerdy. However, is there a more sinister side to the game?
I think you can it gets kind of into it too much and then they can bring it on into real life.
Until I get presented with a fact that says a large percentage of murderers also play D&D, it's a load of crap. Ultimately, by saying that people that do this sort of thing are more likely to be violent, you're basically saying anybody that ever writes anything, whether it be a script for a film, a book, they're all going to be obscenely violent, which is just a load of crap.
Dulls their senses and they lose contact between reality and games.
If a person's violent, they're violent. It's got nothing to do with what kind of games they play, what kind of books they read, what kind of cinema they watch. If someone's going to go out and start a fight, it's not because they've just died in their D&D game. It's, this has absolutely no impact on that.
It's a game, it's not... I mean, violence in society, that's not something that's that comes from, like, games or films. That's something far deeper.
In 1988, Dungeons & Dragons player Chris Pritchard allegedly masterminded the murder of his stepfather. He was a drug addict and abused alcohol. However, the media pointed towards D&D being a cause due to the discovery of a D&D map being made of the layout of his stepfather's home. Does this really mean that players find it difficult to separate fantasy and reality?
Because me sitting here doing this for hours on end is definitely means I'm going to run out and go on a killing rampage. It's just someone's going to go out and be violent. They're going to go out and be violent, irrelevant of what they do in their spare time.
It's just a chance to just literally sit around with a group of people that you get on really well with and just be an idiot for a while. The easiest way to describe it is you're basically sitting down and almost writing a book with your friends. That's the closest thing that you could come to. It's like a brainstorming session of a book.
I find the story is what drives the whole thing. Without a story, there's nothing. If you can't picture the story and the people in it, there's not really that much point.
Without the imagination, it is just Monopoly.
For those players, it's like playing a single part in a film, and the film's story and progress is all laid out by the Dungeon Master.
I like the idea that all your traps are attached to each finger, and then if someone is like, I mean, there's more than one of them.
When you're actually playing the game, the conversations that come up are nothing like what you would talk about outside, like trouble at work never comes up, current affairs that a particular topic of discussion never come up. Is just completely apart from anything you would normally do, and it's just the chance to just relax and be an idiot for a while.
It's not for a common man to find royalty sexy.
I'm not common, I'm a noble.
Even nobles, blah blah blah.
With the issue of violence being blamed on so many different things, whether it be role-playing games or drugs and alcohol abuse, it seems violence is a sign of something deeper at play going on within society. Rather than focusing on the negative connotations, perhaps we should be celebrating the skill, creativity and imagination that's being brought into these games.
Experience with other kinds of role-playing in the past?
Yeah.